Hello, my name is Philip Wallers. My research paper was titled Technological Ethics. In it, I discussed how ethics are changing with the way technology is advancing. In the words of Albert Camus, a man without ethics is a wild beast loosed upon this world. So let's dive into ethics. What is ethics? Ethics refers to the moral principles that govern the behavior or conduct of a person. Ethics and moral principles used to be a lot easier to maintain before technology started to advance at an astronomical pace. The question used to be what we should do given the options available. Unfortunately, it now seems the question has become, what do we have to do? A part of this problem has to do with the technology we have today. It also has to do with the way technology is constantly advancing. For instance, in the 1950s, the respirator made it possible to keep patients alive who were unable to breathe unaided. This seems like an amazing invention, and it is. However, people had to deal with whether it was ethical to keep people alive using the machine, or whether it was better to let them pass away. Then, in the 1960s, Dr. Christiaan Barnard showed that a heart transplant had immense life-saving potential. The question soon became whether those who were on life support, whether it was in a coma or a vegetative state, could be used to take organs for transplanting. The problem was that while they were on life support, they were not technically dead. And by the rules that were set forth in determining death, they could not be deemed so. The answer given to this problem was to redefine death, so that it included irreversible cessation of brain function, along with the normal stoppage of heart, respiration, and pulse. Now, in the past 4 decades, technology has fundamentally altered our lives, from the way we work, to how we communicate, to how we fight wars. But these technologies have not been without controversy, and many have sparked intense debates, often polarized or embroiled in scientific ambiguities or dishonest demagoguery. So let's talk about the ethical dilemmas. There are a number of ethical issues that stem from the current state of technology. With the advancement of computers came the upsurge of hackers. These people have their own sense of morals and ethics that are typically different from the rest of societies. So, which set of morals are the right ones? We, in the normal society, would say that we had the correct mindset, but the hackers in their society would exclaim that they are in the right. For instance, Barnaby Jack, of security vendor IOActive, recently demonstrated the vulnerability of a pacemaker. He did this by breaching the security of the wireless device from his laptop and then reprogrammed it to deliver an 830-volt shock. He did this solely to show that hackers have the ability to hack into medical equipment and manipulate it. So if they can do this, what's to stop them from doing this to autonomous machines and vehicles that are constantly being created? The other issues that come with these self-controlled machines is who is held responsible in the event of any kind of accident. Does the fault lie with the company who made the machine? If a person was riding in a self-driving vehicle when it crashes, is it their fault? More accuracy is expected in the operation of drones with the adaptation of the sense and avoid equipment. This equipment will have unequivocal security benefits, helping to avoid collisions of drones with other drones or other piloted systems. This technology will also be able to be used in autonomous vehicles. While this technology can be used in these vehicles to help avoid any kind of accidents, no system is perfect, and those accidents will still happen. Because of this means that there will need to be some form of ethical responsibility that comes with these machines. But who gets to make the ethics rules for these systems? And how do we determine who is responsible for any ethical violations? Many people will debate about who should be allowed to make these decisions, and for the most part, I doubt people will ever truly agree on a reliable and, even more necessary, responsible party to make these decisions. Now, as with any issue, there are solutions. We have several options for who should really be able to take on the responsibility of choosing what is ethical as technology continues to advance. We could choose to let the scientists do it. After all, they are objective truth seekers. Problem is, research takes years to decades to complete, and even then, infighting could bring a process to a halt. Maybe we could allow the inventors and entrepreneurs to make the rules. There are plenty of examples of companies and people doing their best to protect consumers and do no evil. But you still have the problem of the companies and people who are only in it for the profit. Historically, we've trusted politicians and lawmakers to protect the public and make large-scale ethical decisions. However, lawmakers aren't the most educated on the subject and may have trouble passing legislation as quickly as we need it, or in a way that satisfies all parties. We could let the general public make the decisions in a democratic fashion. But since most of the public are not experts on technology, that's not really a reliable option. Finally, we could delegate power to an external body that specializes in tech ethics, either appointing or training experts to oversee tech company operations. Then they would be able to make ethical decisions for us. This is by far the most balanced option, but then we have to decide who would get to be in charge of this organization. With all of these solutions, the biggest factor that plays into it is the knowledge factor. No single person or group can overcome the challenge of deciding what's ethical in tech. But with enough transparent knowledge, we can all decide for ourselves. This means society as a whole would need to come together to help decide what is or is not ethical, as well as be able to help transform the process by which these decisions are made, so that the ethical questions are easier to answer by those in charge. Doing so would allow the people to have a say in what is ethical and what isn't, while also allowing the individual or organization in charge to hear what the people have to say in order to make the right decisions. Again, there are several ethical dilemmas that stem from the current state of technology, as well as the way technology keeps advancing day by day. There are also a few ways to help decide what is deemed ethical in regards to this technology. However, it is not something that can be answered by just one person or group. It has to be answered by the people as a whole, so that there is a way for those in charge to be able to make the right decisions when it comes to the ethical questions prevented by furthering technology. Unfortunately, I doubt this will be the case anytime soon. Each person believes that the ethics and moral principles they abide by are the correct ones. Because of this, they will argue and debate for as long as they feel justified. It is sad that it is true. It is even sadder that this will hold true for years to come. But unfortunately, this is the nature of humanity, and it will take a great effort to change that. In the words of George Bernard Shaw, progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their mind cannot change anything. Thank you.